taking the Ravens 31-27, Skip. As I said before, it's Lamar's time. This is it. I mean, he's got to take it to the next level. And I'm sure he is willing and ready and able to do that. And it's going to be a tough out because it's Patrick Mahomes. But defensively, he's got a solid and sound defense. He's got weapons on the perimeter now. They still can run the football. And then when you look, is Mark Andrews going to be available? Is he coming back to help some things out? And he knows that there are people out there that are waiting to push sin and say, oh, he's 2-4 in the postseason now. He can't get over the hump. So you move the goalposts in these situations, right? It starts with, can he win the division? Can he win a playoff game? Can he advance into the divisional round? Oh, then they move it a little bit more and say, well, he's never been in an AFC Championship game. So that goalpost keeps moving and moving and moving. And then if he wins, it's like, can he win the Super Bowl? And then if he loses, that thing says, well, he's 2-4 now. Poor Lamar. He can't get over the hump. And he knows all of that pressure. The best thing for him, though, is he's playing at home. He's got the crowd behind him. He can be a little more relaxed, attention to detail, and an understanding of what Kansas City is actually going to try to do to him when they're on defense. The crowd noise is down. He's not at Arrowhead, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He's going to have a real, true home field advantage in this particular football game. But I got the Ravens.
I got the Ravens also winning this game, and I got a 34-28 score. Now, I'm trying to, as I look through this thing, see how this plays out in the end, you know, with the Patrick Mahomes making that last drive. And I was listening to the defensive coordinator, McDonald, talk about his simulated pressure, how he puts simulated pressure on quarterbacks and how that has worked so well for his team. But he's never gone up against a guy like 15. You know, 15 don't buy into the simulated pressure when you're sending 4, but we don't know which 4 is coming because you're dropping one of the defensive linemen to drop back into a zone coverage. Now it's up to the quarterback to find the right receiver in the offensive line to make sure they're in the right blocking protection. 15 will always find the right receiver, and he knows exactly how to buy more time. So the Baltimore Ravens defense have to be careful when they're trying to apply all of this simulated pressure. You got to get to Patrick Mahomes. The Las Vegas Raiders showed us. They showed us how to beat him. They got to Patrick Mahomes. Max Crosby got to Patrick Mahomes, and they won that game. And that's what the Baltimore Ravens will have to do. Patrick Mahomes is not going anywhere easily. They're going to have to take this game because this is everything. His legacy needs it, so he can say, yeah, I won a game. I won a Super Bowl away from Arrowhead Stadium. And my God, Lamar Jackson needs it way more than anything, and he needed to go through Patrick Mahomes to get it. If Josh Allen had come into Baltimore and they go to the Super Bowl, we still would be sitting here saying, yeah, you got a Super Bowl, but you didn't beat Patrick Mahomes. This is his time.
Good point. No, all good points. So, Michael, you're going 34-28, right?
Yes, Baltimore.
Okay. So this is interesting to me because I, early in the week, had the score in your ballpark. I had it 30-20. And then I started thinking, Michael, wait a minute. All we talk about is Mahomes versus Lamar, Lamar versus Mahomes. We have the top 2 scoring defenses on the same football field for the AFC Championship game. We have the number 1 scoring defense, fewest points allowed, the Baltimore Ravens. Second fewest points allowed, the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm thinking, wow, aren't we kind of overlooking, aren't we overshadowing how really great the Baltimore defense has been and how underrated great that Spags' defense has been because it's just been coming and coming and coming, and here it is. And because of that, and because I looked at the forecast, and it looks like on Sunday afternoon, it's at 3 o'clock Eastern Time kickoff, it looks like it's going to rain. The temperature's not going to be bad because it's going to be up in the high 40s, but it's like 90% chance of rain. So I don't know for sure, but it feels like, looks like, smells like it's going to rain. So we're going to have some wet ball factor, and it feels like it's going to keep the score lower for me. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to drop my score down to like 24-14 Baltimore. Now, to both your points about who's the better team, well, what I love the most about Baltimore, I can encapsulate in one stat for both of you. Baltimore went 6-0 during the regular season against teams that were 3 or more games above 500. And in those 6 wins, they won by an average of 26 points against all the good teams that they played. And just quickly, they beat Houston twice, obviously, in the first game, in the first playoff game. It was 25-9 and 34-10. Then they beat Cleveland 28-3. Then they beat Detroit. Remember that game at Baltimore? It was 38-6. And then they beat the 49ers, as we all know, on Christmas night at 49ers, 33-19. It wasn't even that close. And then don't forget, the Dolphins were flying high and ran into the Ravens, and it was 56-19. So to me, they've shown you routinely that they will rise up to the level of competition. They don't play, down to the level. They rise up. They don't get exposed. They actually show you even more dominance against the better teams.
No, get on out of here.
What's that?
Man.
They're not the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. They do not get exposed.
But listen,
okay.
I go back.
You got me. Bingo.
Right. I go back to last year, man, when I watched Patrick Mahomes, and I think he was playing the 49ers. That year he played the 49ers.
Yeah.
Dude.
In San Francisco.
And that was that's the Patrick Mahomes that Baltimore is about to see. I mean, he tore up that number 1 defense then. That was the top defense then. And he played quite a game. I mean, he did everything. It was one of those Iron Man games. And I'm expecting that kind of game. Skip, I know you talked about number 1, number 2 scoring defense. Yeah. But we also have these 2 different type of quarterbacks. And Lamar's trying to climb up in that elite echelon of a quarterback.
He is.
And with Patrick Mahomes, this is the game that will give him this. Patrick Mahomes is trying to show you, later on we're going to have conversations about, is he the greatest? And I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about later on in time. Is he the greatest? And all of these little things start getting pulled out. Well, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl. He went on the road to get his. That's when all of this is going to come up, and Patrick Mahomes wants to take it out of your head right now and take it out of your ability to speak on it, and that's why this is going to be a great meet. These 2 quarterbacks see their legacies at stake, and they will give everything. I can't wait to watch that. No defense is going to be able to stop these 2 quarterbacks. None.
Well, you got a point there, Michael, about the Kansas City Chiefs defense being able to stop or slow down Lamar Jackson. This is a duplicate of a week ago in Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. They do very similar things, both with their legs and the delivery of the football. Josh Allen played well against Kansas City, well enough to win that football game. He missed a throw when he probably should have hit Diggs underneath on a shallow cross instead of trying to step into the throw on the post. He missed that throw. Yep. But for the most part, throughout that game, he played solid, sound football enough for them to win. This is Lamar Jackson is a duplicate of what they just saw. Okay, maybe a little more dynamic in terms of running because he's not as powerful of a runner as Josh Allen, but it's the same thing. It's the RPO game. It's the design runs with the quarterback. It's delivering the football in sync, in rhythm. So Kansas City saw what they saw against Josh Allen, and I can imagine that we're going to see that and more against Kansas City because of Lamar Jackson.
Okay, but Keyshawn, Buffalo's defense was decimated.
Right.
They're playing third stringers.
Right.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And it won't be that situation in Baltimore. You're right.
No, it will not be that situation. I'm talking about on the defensive side for Kansas City, though, up against Lamar. Buffalo's defense, we already know that wasn't anything. This is going to be a tougher test for Patrick Mahomes, no question about it. Now, I'm not stupid enough to say that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have a chance. And Patrick Mahomes won't walk in there and win the game. I'm not that silly. But at the same time, when I look across the field at this kid, number 8, in Lamar Jackson, he has something to prove because there are doubters. There are people out there ready to hit the send button to be able to say, well, see, I knew he couldn't do it. I knew this type of style couldn't advance to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. Right. That's all going to change on Sunday evening.
Yeah, and okay. You know, when I look at it, you know, Lamar, we were talking about this earlier. Lamar's this year threw 3,678 yards. That's the most he's ever thrown for. You look at Patrick Mahomes' MVP years, throws for 5,000 yards regularly because we see Patrick Mahomes as a passer that can buy time moving around. But until this year, we saw Lamar Jackson as a runner that's trying to learn how to pass. He doesn't want that. He wants to be an official quarterback that can run. And that's what he started showing this year. And that's why this journey, this time, he may never throw for 5,000 yards. That's what Key and I was talking about. But 3,600 and rushing for another 1,000, that's how you get his accumulation thereof.
I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. Yeah. I'll take it all day long.
Yeah, and you'll take it. But trust me, Lamar wants to be known as a 4,000 or 5,000 yard passer. You know what I mean? That's what he's always talked about. And he spoke out of the abundance of his heart. They said, the Bible says, the mouth to speak. When he first came in the league, he said, they think I'm a running back. Just call me a running back. That was his pain speaking. This is his promise showing up right here.
Pay that man. Pass the plate.
Okay. Well, so, before the season started, I said that, what's that?
No, keep messing with me. I'm just saying the man.
I just told him to pass the plate, man.
At the beginning of this man's career, when a man comes out talking about, everybody just calls me a running back. They asked me to go to running back, asked me to go to receiver. You know he's carried that pain with him to this point. That's why he talked about, I'm going to make y'all give me a guaranteed contract because you spoke against me like this. He didn't get that accomplished. But this is the journey we can clearly see that he is on, and that's why this game is everything.
Yeah, so before the year started, I said Lamar would win the regular season MVP and win the Super Bowl, and it just feels like that's been meant to be all year long, like that's been his destiny. And on the other side, it just felt like the Chiefs all year long were teetering, like they never were quite right. They felt a little more right at Buffalo, but again, against a decimated defense, it took Buffalo's kicker, Tyler Bass, missing a 41-yard field goal to avoid overtime. So I don't know that Kansas City, as a football team, especially as an offense, has played at as high a level as they have in the past. I don't think they're quite what they used to be, while Baltimore has arrived. Would you guys agree with that takeaway?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I certainly do. You know, when you look at the defensive side of the ball for Buffalo and the missed field goal to send it into overtime, you just, whatever it is that's going on in Buffalo is going on. But Kansas City, all you have to do is hit it right at the right time. You can wobble along during the regular season.
You can.
But come postseason, you just got to hit. And they've been able to do that. That's why they're now in the AFC Championship.
But conventional wisdom says if you don't perform at the lower levels, putting you at a higher, harder level doesn't mean you're going to be successful. It usually means you're not going to be successful. I think some of those issues that they had in this game may show back up. And let's be real here. While we're talking about Lamar has to win this game, this is probably the weakest you're going to ever catch Patrick Mahomes. He is willing his team.
I agree.
He is willing his team. So if you don't get him now, then we're going to be saying, I don't know if you will ever get him. This is the best chance you'll have. Unless, well, let me put one more caveat on, unless Andy Reid walks away. Because then you may have unless Andy Reid walks away, because that's a master at what he does.
Then they just hire Bill Belichick, right? And then they go right on.
Why would you even say that, Michael? You knew what he was going to say.
You're not. Now listen. Now.
Why would you even do that?
They may bring in Bill and then get your boy
Skip,
back.
would you rather have Bill Belichick? Would you rather have Bill Belichick
and then coach
the Dallas Cowboys or Mike McCarthy? Who would you rather have?
No, I love Mike McCarthy. He's the best. I think he's the best coach in football right now. We're onward and upward. We're going to win it all next year.
But you don't think if Andy walks away and Bill takes that job and bring in Bieniemy as his OC, man, they'll run through this league. I hope they don't do nothing like that.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.